This is the overview page of the test. There are 3 other tabs: Intents, Change Analysis and Entity Distribution, which I'll talk about in later videos. Let's start with the score overview breakdown. There are 3 metrics that we use: correctness, confidence and clarity. All of these scores are out of 100%. Correctness is about how correctly the model can predict the right outcome. Confidence is about how confident the model is about this prediction. And clarity is about how clearly defined the intents are within your model and can indicate how stable the correctness and confidence will stay over time. Clarity scores can't be provided for Dialogflow or Lex models, as these providers don't give us the necessary information to calculate the clarity score. There is a colour-coded evaluation of these scores. Dark green for great. Light green represents good, as you can see here. Amber for any scores that are okay. And any that are less than 50% will be in red and classed as bad. On the right hand side you will see the score distribution bar graph, which plots each intent against their score bracket. Again, these bars are colour coded so you can easily see which are great, which are good, which are okay, and any that are bad will be shown here and may need some work. And if you hover over each bar, you can see how many intents fall into that score bracket. You can view this graph across the 3 key metrics: correctness, confidence, and clarity. And if we go back to the correctness one, we can see that there are a few intents that need a little bit of work on their correctness, but we've got quite a few intents that are fairly good. And on the confidence one, we've got 1 intent that needs a little bit of work on, but we have got quite a few intents that are fairly confident. And the clarity one is fairly good and doesn't need that much work, maybe possibly with this one here. Beneath the score information, we have 2 tables, which will only be visible if you have run more than 1 test in a project, as these tables represent the comparison between this test and the previous one. You can also change the test you want to compare to by clicking up here. This table shows which intents have seen the largest direct changes. Intents listed here have had the training data deliberately added to them, and the intents are listed in order of the biggest score change for correctness. The table on the opposite side shows the indirect changes, which can be very interesting. Here will be a list of intents from your model that have not had training data deliberately added to them, but the scores have changed nonetheless. These indirect changes are just as important to be aware of as the direct changes are. At the top of the overview page, you have an information button which shows the metadata for this test. So we have the date created, the NLP provider, the language, and how long it took to run the test in QBox. On the next button, you can download the whole file if you wish. You can also download a confusion matrix for this test, and you can have the raw test results. This gives you an Excel file with all your training data questions and their expected and predicted intents, the ranking and confidence scores, which can be quite handy. The next button is where you can compare this test to any other test in any other project. When you run a subsequent test, QBox will automatically compare the new one with the last one in the project, but you can change this with this feature. The last button is to show any help videos associated with that page. Most pages and features on QBox will show 1 or more help videos.